Hello everybody, my name is Kai, and welcome back to Warframe. Today we'll be taking a look at the Acolyte one-shotting monster himself, Baruuk Prime. But before I show you just exactly how to do that, I would like to remind everybody that I do have a Patreon now. Go check it out at the link in the description below to directly influence some of the content that gets made on the channel. And a huge thanks to all of my patrons who help make all of this possible. You guys are awesome, and I couldn't do it without you. But let's get back onto the video. Today's builds for Baruuk are going to consist of two different Helminth abilities that are suited for different but incredibly strong playstyles. Warcry and Nourish provide Baruuk with absolutely massive buffs for his Desert Wind that while they can honestly be skipped because he's already just that good, if we can do it, then why not? But before we can cover those, we do need to go over his Exalted ability, Serene Storm, and the Desert Wind Prime. Now being an Exalted, you can mod these separately from other weapons and they do have their own unique stats. The Desert Wind are the backing of all Baruuk builds as they are what allow him to one-hit kill pretty much everything on the Steel Path, even Acolytes as shown earlier. This is in part due to their absolutely fantastic stats. A base 50% critical chance means that with the right setup you can easily get infinite red crits, and a good crit multiplier helps boost them to hit numbers in the millions without even trying. His augment Reactive Storm also provides him with a status chance of over 100%, which has even more synergies we will get to later. Some important notes though are that certain mods like Blood Rush or Weeping Wounds cannot be equipped on the Desert Wind, nor can it have Riven mods generated for it. But you will come to find that these slight caveats don't really mean anything to Desert Wind and its damage output. As Baruuk punches with his fists, he will send out waves of energy that have infinite punch through and travel up to 20 meters. Every hit with the waves either ragdolls or disarms enemies, sometimes even both, yet they will not build combo count, nor are they affected by mods like Condition Overload. Direct strikes, which means making contact with his fists, are affected by Condition Overload and will build combo, but you can probably tell that that is a little bit difficult because everything dies in pretty much one hit if you're looking at them. One important thing to note though is that his Desert Wind does not use or drain energy to determine how long or expensive the ability is or how long it lasts. Instead, it uses a resource custom to Baruuk, his Restraint. Your Restraint is gauged by mainly your second ability, Lull. You are unable to use Serene Storm while your Restraint is too high, but you can lower it by casting Lull. Besides lowering your Restraint, Lull will also put enemies within a 25-meter range base around you to sleep. When your Restraint is lowered, you can then cast Serene Storm, which will then slowly restore your Restraint up until max. You can cast Lull while in your Serene Storm though to continuously keep yourself within this ability. You can also drain Restraint by using his third ability, Desolate Hands, but that is not the only use and probably the least important use that it provides. Casting Desolate Hands will have Baruuk spawn a bevy of daggers that provide him with up to 90% damage reduction, and also when near enemies, seek them out and disarm them. You will lose 1 dagger for every enemy disarmed though. But again, that is not a big deal because you only need 9 daggers to provide you with a full 90% damage reduction, and it can be refreshed at any time. That is not his only source of DR though. Serene Storm provides him with 40% DR, and his passive gives him another 50% as you lower his Restraint. Stack this with Adaptation, and Baruuk becomes practically an unkillable monster on the Steel Path, and enemies can barely even do anything to them as he just walks around and one-shots all of them. Building our Desert Wind, we get our base damage from Prime Pressure Point and not Condition Overload because Condition Overload doesn't affect the waves. Our critical chance on Sacrificial Steel, because we cannot use Blood Rush, brings us to 160%, which is not enough for red crits but gets bolstered by another method I will show soon. Besides that, Prime Fever Strike and Shocking Touch give us Corrosive, which is the best raw damage element and helps with one-shotting Acolytes. Gladiator Might and Organ Shatter provide us with our critical multiplier to help boost our red crits even further, and Berserker Fury and Quickening grant us attack speed. Baruuk needs attack speed very badly because his damage is already so high that the only limiting factor is how quickly can he attack with his waves. More attack speed equals more kills. But to get those consistent reds that you see in the gameplay, Baruuk actually uses a stat stick, but not in the way other frames with pseudo exalts do. This one only has the 3 Gladiator mods on it for their set bonus of 30% critical chance per combo count multiplier. Building combo on exalted weapons like Valkyr's Talons, or in this case Baruuk's Desert Wind, will grant them a total 4x damage buff at 12x combo. This means that you should be doing this regardless of whether or not you're using this type of stat stick, but when you are, the Gladiator set bonus will provide you with 30% critical chance per combo multiplier if you're using 3 mods. 1x combo is not a thing, so counting from 2 to 12 gives us an 11 times 30% buff to our critical chance, giving us 330% more crit chance on our Desert Wind, which comes out to plus 165. That plus Sacrificial Steel gives us 325% critical chance, which is well above the 300% needed for pure red crits. I recommend you use Naramon because combo is so crucial to this build. Power Spike means you won't lose all your combo instantly, and Opening Slam makes it just that much more easier to build up to the 12x. I also recommend you use a primary and secondary Dexterity Arcane to increase your combo duration. Now the first build I have coming up today is using Nourish. I've gone over what Nourish does a lot on the channel, but in short, it provides us with a viral damage increase of 241% with 322% strength. It also gives us an energy multiplier, meaning we can comfortably run 45 efficiency and also don't need to use Arcane Energize on the build. It also gives us the viral AoE wave whenever we are attacked, and of course gives this buff to all of your allies. Because we don't need Energize, our Arcane slots are filled up for more attack speed and more damage, and in our Aura slot, we use Steel Charge for even more base damage. Adaptation makes Baruuk that much more unkillable as it stacks with all of his other DR, but just for safety and status cleanse, I do use Rolling Guard. This could be swapped out for something else like Natural Talent though, as status effects won't really be dealing much damage to you in the first place. Prime Continuity offsets some of the negative on Transient Fortitude, so you don't need to recast Nourish often, but it is a great shield gating tool if you want to use it. Finally, this brings us to Baruuk's 4th ability augment, Reactive Storm. This provides you status chance that scales with strength, giving him 805% status chance on his Desert Wind, which easily pushes it above 100. Furthermore, it also adapts the impact damage that Desert Wind does and turns it into the best status effect against the enemies you are facing. And that is because Reactive Storm will adapt the damage that Serene Storm does to the best possible damage type for that enemy. For Corpus, it would be Magnetic. For some Grineer, it'll be Radiation. Although when you are using the Nourish and Corrosive build here, you will mainly be proccing those two elements. It still does help for those enemies that are a little bit beefier. The next build, and my preferred one, is Warcry. Warcry provides Baruuk with an armor increase, a speed increase, and a speed decrease for nearby enemies. But the speed increase on our melee is the most important part because more attack speed is more damage, as I stated before on Baruuk. Eternal War makes it so that we get duration for every melee kill we get for our Warcry, which allows us to comfortably run negative duration, and we can spam our Lull a bit more so we can erode our Restraint faster, but the Steel Path enemy density doesn't really require this. Reactive Storm also features here, and we do need to use Arcane Energize because we do not have the Nourish Energy Multiplier. But we aren't losing out on much because we get attack speed from Warcry and not from Strike. Finally, the rest of the build is pretty similar, although we do actually use Prime Continuity here because without it, the duration on our Warcry and the bonus that Eternal War gives is just too small. Combo all this together and you get a Baruuk that literally does not care and is out here just one-shotting most enemies, and again, even Acolytes can't do anything against him. Everything just gets one-tapped, and it's just so satisfying. Red crits for days, and just fun. Like, even going off script a little bit here, I don't really play Baruuk much because he is a bit of a more solo frame, but when I do play him, God, it is addicting. Hitting large 2 million damage numbers all over my screen, all big red numbers. Yeah, it's a fun one, everybody. But I hope that you all enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for the continuous support. We are still on the road to 10K and it is moving fast. And yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this one and are all doing well. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.